Hey guys, it's Mike. Thanks for tuning in. You're watching Mike's Rockin' Relics, and I was all set to do a video last week. Um, I set out on a sort of vinyl safari to look for records and see what I could find, and just anything in collectibles in general, because I collect lots of other things. And I hit a couple of antique markets and things like that, and left empty-handed. And I thought, well, that's not going to make a very good video, but. In the process, I discovered a couple of things that I've been thinking about as well, and maybe you have too. And I thought today we might discuss that sort of, have I hit the wall? When's enough is enough? What's still out there? All of these questions that started to kind of creep into my mind as I was looking around. And I'm wondering if any of you have shared this same thinking as well. I'll get into it more in depth. Stay tuned. Let's talk about it. So for Father's Day, my wife asked me where I'd like to go and just to spend the day and have a relaxing Father's Day. And I've been playing an awful lot in the various bands that I play in. So I'm a guitar player, and I'm out doing that quite a bit. And I thought, well, it'd be nice to just have a sort of relaxing day. And we headed up to cottage country in central Ontario, and on the Kawartha Lakes to a town called Fenelon Falls. And so it got a little downtown and a couple of restaurants and things like that. It's right on the water, so it's a nice little spot to stop. There's a couple of antique markets there, and both of us like to look at that and just to have a look around. But I'm finding more and more, I'm getting less excited about what I'm looking at, and I almost feel like I'm wasting the day in these places. And that's something that's starting to eat away at me a little bit. Just the quality of what I'm looking at is so weak compared to what it used to be. And maybe I sound like a bit of an old curmudgeon there, but 30 plus years of collecting, and I feel like I've owned a lot of things that I'm just happy that's maybe where I'm at. It's kind of the chances of me finding a ton of new stuff might be slim. So as far as music goes, I've kind of amassed a collection now around 2,000 records and about the same amount in CDs. And beyond that, I'm really not sure what I'm missing. And I know there's lots of collectors out there that are like, wow, I've got 5,000, 10,000 records. That's not me. It's not something I ever want to be. I want to make sure what I have is something I'd listen to, and listen to enough to warrant keeping it and owning it. So but I'm starting to feel more and more like I'm finishing the game. I feel like I've kind of done it. There's nothing I'm missing, and the ones that I would be excited to find, the chances of me finding it at a flea market, garage sale, that sort of antique markets, that sort of places, I don't know if they're out there anymore. And certainly in where I live in Canada, it's maybe in the US and in the UK there is more availability of some of those things, but where I am in Ontario, Canada, it's getting pretty picked over. It's pretty hard to find. I'm about, where I live is about an hour east of Toronto. Lots of collectors around, and I don't think the supply was really huge to begin with. So it's getting less and less that you're going to find any of these. And I don't know, I just feel like I'm kind of burning out on it. I'm kind of running out of steam on it. So I didn't know if you guys had ever felt that way before. But it's starting to be something that's creeping into my mind. As far as collecting goes, I collect a lot of things. Music isn't just the only thing I collect, but space becomes an issue, and just the time to enjoy it becomes an issue. And I don't want to be a hoarder. I don't want to turn into where my collection is taking over areas of my living space and things like that. I keep my collection in my music studio. It's all out here. None of it's in my house. And I like to keep it sort of an arm's length from that. But I do find at some point you just sort of hit capacity, and I feel like I'm kind of there. There's nothing that I'm getting hugely excited about. I don't listen to a lot of new music, to be honest. which I should. But I haven't found something that's really excited me in a while that way either. So I'm not buying a lot of new artists, and I don't know. I feel like for the classic rock genre and some of the older like alternative genres and things like that, blues, I've got a ton of what I really like, and I don't know. I just find that that's maybe enough. I don't know what's enough. How many records is kind of like that should be enough. There's probably not a number, and probably you shouldn't put a number on that. But I've sort of set myself up some shelf spaces that I think, okay, this is going to be where the record collection sits. This is where the CD collection is going to sit. And beyond that, I think I'm happy. I'm just going to leave it there and just make that, in my music room, that is the space I have. And that's what's going to be allowed to be filled. And past that, I need to start thinning out a little bit, I think. So I think I've gone through this before where I felt like I've kind of burned out on record collecting and music collecting. I think I felt like that before. I've come back to it at different times. I'm just curious if any of you have gone through the same thing. And maybe what I'm feeling is not, a lot different than what a lot of people are going through. But the thoughts right now I'm getting is just kind of like I feel content with what I have. I don't really feel like I want to add a lot to it. I don't think I'm missing anything glaring in my collection. I think my record collection could stand up to many collections and feel like it's complete and thorough, and it's curated well, and I think I have some really rare pieces. I think I have some trophy records, if you will. And for me, it's sort of about what I like to listen to and what I like to kind of have on the turntable. So I'm trying to get it to a point where what I actually have is what is going to be listened to regularly. I'm kind of finding I'll pull a record out once in a while and be totally, I can't remember what it sounds like. I can't remember what, is on there and if there was a song I liked or anything like that. And that's when I start to kind of think, well, there's only so many hours in the day, and I did a calculation one time, whereas if I took every CD and record and I said to myself, I'm going to listen to one a day, well, I think I was into like 8 years or something. I don't know. So, realistically, one a day is going to be as many as I can listen to. That's with my schedule, and that's what I can do. So when's enough is enough. I just feel like I've kind of finished, and I feel like I'm at that point, but I'm not sure. And maybe I'm just going through a little change or something like that, but I kind of feel like I've gotten what I'm happy to have, and maybe that's enough for right now. But I'd like to hear from you and what you think, and if that's something that you've come across as well. As I say, like the number of records in your collection, that doesn't mean anything to me. What I like and what I listen to is good, and I'm happy with that. The value and the numbers side of things doesn't really always equate with me. But so whether you're happy with 5,000 records or 50 records, I think both are valid and both are where you need to be. I know a few guys that own record stores. The fella that I kind of probably know best is he's right around the same number as my collection. And the other guy that I know fairly well with his record store, he only keeps a couple of crates, and that's it. And he says he never lets it get beyond that. That's where it is. So, I think everybody's different, and everybody's setup is different, and the space and budget and all that is different. But for me, I'm feeling pretty content right now with what I have, and maybe it's time to focus my energy on something else for a little while and just see if I come back to it. But for right now, I feel like I need a little break, and I've accumulated pretty well everything I've ever set out to find. So that's where I feel like I'm at right now. Well, that's just a brief summary of where I feel like I'm at right now as a record collector and music collector, and I would really love to hear your feedback on that and see if any of you have felt the same way. And, if you feel like that sometimes you just hit a wall a little bit. But I'd certainly like to appreciate what I have a little bit more and spend some time with that before I add to the pile. So right now for me, it's a little break and reassess and maybe some downsizing. But that's where I am with my collection. Love to hear from you. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.